Hey, welcome to Crafty Music Tips. I'm about to react to the top 200 singers of all time according to the Rolling Stone magazine. Let's check it out. Now, if this is your very first time to this channel, well, I'll just tell you a little bit about who it is that's doing the talking here. So I just do gigs and teaching on a weekly basis, which means that I have to think about and deal with the subject of music all the time. And one of the things I deal with is singing. And so I thought, yeah, why not react to this Rolling Stones list that has been released? And before I look at the actual list, I'll just set the scene with who are my favorite vocalists. So I had to think about, what does that mean?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Singing is just part of the song. And yes, it is the thing that most people in the public gravitate to and connect with. But really, if there's a really great singer with a really bad song, are you going to like it? Am I going to like it? I don't know. But it was definitely food for thought. You know, it's definitely something to consider when thinking, who are your favorite vocalists? Who are yours? My top 10 are Maynard James Keenan from Tool and A Perfect Circle, Mike Patton from Faith No More, Mr. Bungle, many other bands, Clint Bogue from the Australian band Butterfly Effect, the Australian singer Lior, Daniel Johns from Silverchair. He's got two voices, his young voice and his man voice. And bizarrely, his younger voice was kind of a bit more gutsier in a way. But anyway, Karen Carpenter, if her voice is on, I just stop and go, oh, listen to that. Which is a great coincidence because the next person on my list, Don Henley, reminds me of a Seinfeld episode where this happened.
Hanging on the
Elaine,
fender.
could you just not talk for 1 minute?
Ronnie James Dio. Now, out of all of the crooners, I love a good crooner, but just the one voice that really makes me just go, would be Nat King Cole. And whether he's crooning or whether he's doing the early rock and roll, Elvis. Can't go past Elvis. He's up on my wall there. And it was hard to limit it to 10. The singer Matt Corby, as well as Ian Kenny. That's my top 12. There we go. Sorry, I couldn't keep it down to 10. Now, the interesting thing for me when I was going through this top 10 list of mine, top 12 list, I was thinking to myself, there's going to be so many people that disagree and say, oh, I can't believe you didn't mention so-and-so. And that's the beauty about having personal taste.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
I couldn't stop with my top 12 list because I was thinking, well, I know why these certain singers are very renowned for being fantastic singers, but they just, I guess they don't give me that feeling on the inside. So here's the list of these singers. Matt Bellamy from Muse, Michael Jackson, Elton John, Stevie Wonder, Jeff Buckley, Beyonce, Prince, Mariah Carey, Otis Redding, Adele. I'm sure I've left off others as well, but look, there's 10 singers that I just think they're fantastic, but they didn't make my top 10 list. It's hard to explain. It's it's a personal thing.
That's just like your opinion, man.
All right, so that's enough about me and my opinions. Or is it? Maybe the last thing that I should mention is that if you know me as a person, you'll know that I'm a big Beatles fan. And you may notice that John Lennon or Paul McCartney or George Harrison was not on either of those lists that I mentioned. Now, this list of the top singers of all time has got me thinking, well, is it just the voice, or is it the fact that they write the songs, or is it that you just like them singing songs that you like? Is it the way that they look? Or is it everything? This is hard. So anyway, just because I'm here and I have a YouTube channel, I'll tell you, these are my top 5 bands, I guess, of all time, or artists that have got singers that I really like the songs, but the singers on their own didn't make the lists that I just mentioned before. So for me, like I said, the Beatles, love those guys. Nirvana, Kurt Cobain's voice, fantastic, but it's the attachment to the music, I guess, for me. The band Spiderbait, an Australian band. I love both Cram and Janet's voices as well. Also, the band Regurgitator, both Quan and Ben, didn't make my top list. And also Hetfield from Metallica. I'm a big Metallica fan from way back, but something about his voice. I mean, I really like Mustaine's voice from Megadeth, but look, anyway, enough. I think we're ready for the top 200 singers of all time list from Rolling Stone magazine. Let's do some reacting.
Well, let's start the insanity. Giddy up.
When Rolling Stone first published its list of the 100 greatest singers in 2008, we used an elaborate voting process that included input from well-known musicians. The results skewed towards classic rock and singers from the 60s and 70s. Okay, right. So this new list was compiled by our staff and key contributors. So before you start scrolling and commenting, keep in mind that this is the greatest singers list, not the greatest voices list. Right, that's interesting. Talent is impressive. Genius is transcendent. In all cases, what mattered most to us was originality, influence, and the depth of an artist's catalogue, and the breadth of their musical legacy. So it's really a list of the 200 greatest singers and their careers and how original they are. All right, so we've looked at this preamble enough. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through as fast as I can, and I'm just going to react to the vocalists that I know. Please don't hate me for not knowing one of your favorite singers. I am but just one person. So here we go. Oh, Billie Eilish at 198. Well, I guess in comparison to, say, Elvis, Billie's career has been a lot smaller. But that's interesting, isn't it? Because usually when you see a list like this, even if it is a greatest list of all time, people can't help but be influenced by who's really big currently. So I find that interesting. Kelly Clarkson at 194. Yes, well, I got to get my head around this, that it's not just about the voice, it's about the career as well. Frank Ocean. It's moments like these that you go, oh yeah, I forgot that Frank Ocean exists. Joan Baez, 189. Now, one of my favorite artists ever for my dad is Joan Baez. And so a few years ago, she came and toured and bought my whole family tickets to the concert. It was fantastic. I guess she wouldn't be as versatile as some singers, but definitely would have influenced many. Bonnie Raitt. Yeah, she's got a freaking great voice. And I mean, heard her play guitar. Woo! Yeah, love Bonnie Raitt. Alicia Keys, 185. Oh, some people are going to hate that. Bob Seger, 181. Yeah, he's an awesome vocalist. Iggy Pop at 176. Good old Iggy. Very influential. He's still rocking the no shirt. Saw him a couple of years ago. Lana Del Rey. Loved Lana Del Rey's voice. Yes, the song Video Games. Yeah, that was just stuck in my head for a good year or so back in the day. She's got that kind of one really relaxed sound that she just does ever so well. Buddy Holly. Understandably so that he's not further down the list, but also, I mean, he did influence so many and he died at only 22. Love Buddy Holly. Marianne Faithfull. My introduction to Marianne Faithfull was that Metallica song, Na 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 Na, that she sang in. Debbie Harry at 168. What a great voice. Not too familiar with too much of Morrissey's work, but I'm aware that, yeah, very influential. Could have been potentially up higher. Ronnie James Dio. All right, so my first out of my favorite vocalists made it to 165. I'd have him in my top 10. Oh, Brenda Lee. I'm aware of Brenda Lee's voice because she did Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Da, 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 da. And it was just recently Christmas. And of course, I had some Christmas gigs. Great voice. But higher up than Ronnie James Dio? All right. Am I starting to get fired up? Everybody's got their own opinion.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Carrie Underwood. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that you see a list like this and you go, oh, yeah, that's a singer that exists.
Hey, I know you.
Robert Smith got above Morrissey. Interesting. What do you think? I guess if you think about it, The Cure have had more success worldwide than the Smiths. Dion, higher than Buddy Holly? No.
Tell him he's dreaming.
Michael Stipe from REM, quite an REM fan, and he made 152. Yes, well, good old Levon Helm at 148. What a fantastic muso. More than just a singer, obviously was very influential as a singing drummer. Barbs, 147. I know some people that would be not too pleased that she didn't even crack the top 100. PJ Harvey, yeah, very alternative. Saw her once at a Big Day Out festival here in Australia. It's really cool. Darlene Love, here we go with the recent Christmas thing, the Christmas Baby Please Come Home. Great vocalist. Christina Aguilera at 141. Oh, there's going to be some angry friends of mine. She would be on that list of mine where I know she's good, but doesn't give me the feels in the same way. Bono at 140. Yeah, right. This is so hard. The poor people at Rolling Stone that had to go through this and the backlash that I bet you they're getting. So this is great going through this. See, there's a bunch of vocalists that I've never heard before, and this is something that I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to go through this and try and really digest all of this new information and, really take on board some new singers to listen to. Lauryn Hill, 136. Yeah, see, for me, Ronnie James Dio got 165 and Lauryn Hill got way higher. This is personal opinion talking again, but yeah. Axl Rose at 134. I recently saw Guns N' Roses live in concert, and Axl did a pretty mean job for someone at his age that's probably mistreated his body with many things that he would have put inside it. His voice wasn't like the young Axl, but he was hanging in there. He gave it a really good go. And I think his voice, and with his success, should be higher than 134, personally speaking. And Neil Young as well. Jeff Buckley at 131. Wow. Do the people at Rolling Stone know how influential this guy is? Maybe they just haven't hung out with me and my mates. Courtney... What? Okay, Courtney Love, I'm a fan of Courtney Love, but she's not better and more influential than Jeff Buckley. Nah.
That does not make sense.
Oh, at least Rob Halford got above Courtney, but I mean, more than Jeff Buckley? Horses for courses, right? Oh, Florence and the Machine. Yeah, she could have almost made my top 12 list. Yeah, I love Florence's voice. Fantastic. And didn't crack the top 100. Joe Strummer, 125. Yeah, very influential. Great singer. I wonder if his mate, Mick Jones, got on this list. Robert Johnson. Yeah, that's a good call. Very influential. Totally. Karen Carpenter. Didn't crack the top 100. Oh, well, she's in my top 10. Donna Summer. Now, this is interesting. This is similar to what I was saying earlier. It's because I think, yeah, Donna Summer, yeah, good voice, but great songs. I just like Georgia Moroder. Jackie Wilson at 121. Interesting. John Fogerty at 118. Didn't crack the 100. 117, Patti Smith. Great voice. Great songs. Chet Baker. Interesting. This is great. I've said it before. I'll probably say it again. Just seeing that there's quite a few singers that I don't know their stuff in a top 200 greatest singers list of all time. And I'm a full-time musician. I guess I'm getting owned with my lack of knowledge. Fiona Apple, 111. Higher than Christina Aguilera? I'm sure they've got their reasons. It's interesting how The Weeknd gets 110 and Billie Eilish gets 198. In my opinion, it should be around the other way, but whatever. Roger Daltrey, 109. Well, one better than The Weeknd. Lou Reed, 107. This is interesting. Obviously, no one would consider Lou Reed's singing virtuosic unto itself. Correct. Well, at least Bill Withers didn't get beaten by Lou Reed. Love Bill Withers. Fantastic. Eddie Vedder. Wow, didn't crack the top 100. Leonard Cohen. Is it the fact that he's, like one of the greatest songwriters of all time? The fact that he gets into a singers list? Because, I guess it's the delivery of the songs and his performance, how he calmed down the very hostile crowd at the 1970 Isle of Wight festival. And the fact that a certain Hallelujah is one of the most popular songs of all time. Yeah, chuck him in the list. Elton, at 100, didn't quite crack the 100. Poor Elton. Well, he didn't make my top 12, as I mentioned before. He got into my, I know he's good, but doesn't quite hit me in the feels list. Bob Marley, yeah, very influential and great deliverer of his fantastic lyrics, but apparently not as good as Usher. I disagree. Chuck Berry. Yeah, I love Chuck Berry. That's interesting, though. I guess I always think of him as a guitarist. It's probably one of the first songs as a kid that I had to learn in school was the lyrics to Johnny Be Good. And yeah, many other great songs. Great lyrics. Toots Hibbert. Yeah, it makes sense that he's on this list, but more influential and better than Bob Marley?
That doesn't make sense.
Stevie Nicks, 93. Yes, well, is very influential. Yeah, I can never remember how to pronounce this guy's name, but the amount of times that I hear it and think, yeah, I got to listen to him. I've got heaps of albums that were given to me a long time ago, but I just never really delved in. It's definitely one that I'm going to have to do because 91, hey, the results don't lie. Michael Jackson, 86. Hang on a minute. Right next to Diana Ross. Is that a coincidence? Those besties. One of the most influential singers of the 20th century gets 86. And Johnny Cash. Now, I'm a big Johnny Cash fan, but higher than Michael Jackson? Interesting. Amy Winehouse. Yeah, she's awesome. She should be higher than 83. Steve Perry. That's a singer that I really, really, really like and probably would be on my top 10 if I could fit more freaking singers into the top 10. That would mean it would be my top 13. Steve Perry's line that he sings in We Are the World is my favorite out of all of those singers. So he easily deserves to be in the top 100, in my opinion. Chris Cornell, 80. Yeah, he was fantastic. So that's it. My top 12 has turned into my top 13 with Steve Perry and is my top 14 with Chris Cornell. Love Chris Cornell. Springsteen, 77. All right, I'm assuming I'm going to know a lot more of these singers as we go. Wilson Pickett, oh, of course. I can't say that I know Wilson Pickett's voice very well. I definitely know how influential him as a songwriter was, but yeah. Roy Orbison, of course. You know what? My top 14 has increased to a top 15. It's hard to remember everyone. There's so many freaking singers out there, so many great artists. But yeah, my top 10 has increased to my top 15. Yep, definitely. Love Roy Orbison. Fantastic. Rihanna, above Christina Aguilera. Interesting. There's a bunch of singers that I'm not aware of in the top 100. Dennis Brown, I've got some listening to do. Bjork. Ah, yeah, I do love Bjork. Totally deserves to be in the top 100 easy. Robert Plant, 63. Oh, he's one of my favorite vocalists as well. This is hard. There's so many. Oh, Kate Bush. Ah, yeah, very influential. Definitely what you would call a soprano. It's a fun game, trying to sing along with Wuthering Heights. Howlin' Wolf. Way I would describe Howlin' Wolf's voice is just like a earful of razor blades. Kind of like Tom Waits, I guess. When you're a kid and you're trying to find your own voice, it's rather daunting to hear someone like Howlin' Wolf because you'll know that you'll never achieve that. Tom Waits once said, That's the Empire State Building. You can scream into a pillow for a year and never get there. I'd say Tom Waits got close. Brian Wilson. Oh, of course. Yeah, he's fantastic. Barry White, 56. Just beat Brian Wilson. Willie Nelson, 54. He's one of those people like nobody's Willie, and Willie's like no one.
Do not touch Willie. Good advice.
Joni Mitchell at 50. Wow, Joni Mitchell could have been a lot higher. Rod Stewart. Yeah, Rod Stewart's got a great voice and very influential. Linda Ronstadt. Oh, of course. I think maybe my top 15 has to go up to my top 16 with Linda Ronstadt, because definitely someone that gets you in the feels. See, Ella could have easily won and got 45. Who am I? I'm just a guy with an opinion. But the poor people at Rolling Stone that had to compile this list. And it's interesting because we're talking about singers, and singers are easily the number one universal thing that you hear in a song that you connect with as a human being. So I can imagine a lot of people are taking this very personally, that their favorite singers aren't in the top 10. But then also, if you have a bit of knowledge, like I've studied music before, I've got a couple of diplomas and an advanced diploma behind my belt, and I find it fascinating that, you know, we get taught Ella is just the singer to really check out. You know, I mean, there's others as well, like Frank Sinatra and, you know, some other old classic vocalists, but Ella is just held in such a high regard, and it's 45. Oh, well, at least you made the top 100, Ella. James Brown, higher than Ella. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, hey? I mean, they're both freaking legends. I'm a big James Brown fan. Etta James. What was I up to? Top 16? Yeah, Etta James. Top 17 for me. Louis. Now, if I think about it, Louis is an acquired taste, someone that you have to be in the mood for. I'm a big Louis Armstrong fan. Absolutely love him. But yeah, you have to be in the mood. Kurt Cobain. Here we go. 36. This is an interesting statement. Kurt Cobain's voice was a sound at war with itself. Yeah, very influential. Hank Williams, of course, very, very influential. But as a singer, though, I guess it was just the legacy that he left, hey? Because, yeah, definitely influenced everybody after him, including me. Paul McCartney, 26. Yeah, I still stand by what I said earlier, but yep, good on you, Paul. 26 out of 200. It's not bad. Oh, Adele. Yep. She didn't make the top 20, but makes sense. Oh, Nina Simone. Oh, yeah. The almost man-sounding Nina Simone. Every so often I hear a Nina Simone song that I'm not too familiar with, and then I'm like, oh, right. Yes, Nina Simone. It's a female. Would have been very influential for sure. Yeah. It's down to the top 20, and I don't know this singer. There's going to be others. I just know it by the way that I've been going with this list. But yeah, I've got listening to do. Elvis got 17. Yeah, well, Elvis made my top 10 for sure. Prince above Elvis. Good on you, Prince. Well done. I'm a big Prince fan, so.
Yay.
Bob Dylan. I guess this has to be the influence. What a successful career. As a singer, I mean, I really, really like Bob's early voice. Then when he got older, not so much a fan, but the fact that he's so successful, so held in high regard, yeah, makes sense in a way, but above Elvis, above Prince.
This show ain't no good.
Freddie. Oh, at least he didn't beat Freddie. There we go. I need him on my list because, yeah, Freddie gets me in the feels. So what am I up to? Top 17? Top 18? Freddie's on it. Gotta be. Patsy Cline. 13? Really? I'd put Willie above Patsy Cline, mainly just because my favorite version of the song Crazy is the Willie Nelson version. But On your Patsy. John Lennon, 12. Forgot about John. Is George Harrison going to beat him? Now, was Ray Charles in my top 10? I forgot to add Ray Charles. I remember thinking of him, but I guess I just got distracted and didn't write him down. So, yep, he's in my top. What am I up to? 18, 19? Billie Holiday, of course. Yeah, well, how freaking influential is Billie Holiday? Not in my constant rotation to listen to, but yep, very influential for sure. All right, 3, Sam Cooke. All right, yep, that makes sense. Very, very, very influential. But 3 above Elvis? Geez, it's tough, isn't it? What makes someone better? All right, down to the second to last, Whitney Houston. Oh, gee, I almost thought it was Janet Jackson, which we haven't seen Janet Jackson on this list, have we? Aretha Franklin got number 1. Well, there's some banter for my mate Tanya Savelli, who I'm going to be accompanying in an upcoming Fringe Festival event doing an hour tribute to Aretha Franklin. She can mention, well, hey, Aretha just got voted number 1 in the 200 greatest singers of all time by Rolling Stone magazine. So surely that's something that she can mention in between songs if she's stuck for things to say.
You better think about what you're saying.
All right. Wow. So there you go. What did you think? I don't know if anybody's going to be happy by this list. Maybe 1 or 2 people that work in Rolling Stone might be like, yep, no, we definitely stand by this. But I guess if you work for something like that, you know that you're never going to please the masses with this type of thing. You're going to spark a lot of thought and a lot of comments, and that's what I'm doing. What about you? What are your comments? Leave me a comment below. What did you think of their list, and what did you think of this reaction video? What did you think about my list? I know that there's not one person that's going to agree with me, so I guess that's what I should have expected going in to this list. There's definitely many things that I did agree with, though. All right. Now, hang on. Hold the phone. Just before we finish, I've had a little bit of time to reflect, and I've come to the conclusion that this list stinks.
It stinks.
Sure, there's some parts in there that are all right. You know, yes, Elvis made it. Aretha won. That's fine. But so many really good singers didn't get included. You know, Celine Dion, Sting. No Sting in the top 200 greatest singers of all time. Look at the list here of all of the singers that I've realized, like, I'm Australian, so I get Rolling Stone being an American conglomeration, that they're not necessarily going to give Australian singers that much of a second glance. But come on, this is just ridiculous. I mean, Bette Midler didn't even make the list.
No, Bette Midler.
I hope you enjoyed this video. This Crafty Music Tips YouTube channel has heaps of different types of music tips related videos here that you can check out. So while you're going to check out one of those videos, I'm going to go and check out a bunch of these vocalists that I don't know.